And what you're about to see now are high-resolution satellite imagery where Ukrainian drones struck a couple of days back on major Russian air bases. What we'll show you, and I'll explain the context, but the bases include Belaya, Ivanovo, Ukrainka, Olenya, and Ryazan Diaghilevo Air Base. And stay with this for a moment. They show close-ups of bomber transport and airborne warning aircraft. What we're going to show you are pre-strike images because the post-strike images, remember the attacks by drones took place earlier on. But let's go back to that map. I wanted to just go back to that map for a moment. And this is actually the spread of the attacks themselves. This is the front line over here between Ukraine and Russia. But the strikes have gone all the way right to Ukrainka, right in the east, and Belaya Air Base over here. That's more than 4,000 kilometers away. So we'll give you more details about this. But as I said, it's pre-strike imagery, not post-strike, because there's a cloud cover. We are going to be getting that post-strike imagery at a certain stage. But why do I want to show you pre-strike imagery? Let me explain. Let's first bring up imagery of Belaya Air Base. So what we can actually see in this image of the 20th of May are these aircraft. These are Tu-160s. These are the frontline bombers of Russia, intercontinental bombers, nuclear-capable bombers. If you zoom in to this particular image over here, right, and you see all the black dots on the screen, will you zoom in? All of the black dots over here, these are in fact tires which have been placed right on top of these bombers. Why? To try and ensure that drones do not hit them. And even if they do, then the impact of the blast is dissipated. In fact, they've done this everywhere, but as we now know, this effort has been entirely useless. Let's move to the next image, again of Belaya. And an interesting image is of how the Russians have had decoys painted into the surface. This is a decoy of a Tu-160, which has been painted in, but high-resolution satellite imagery from Maxar can clearly show that it is a decoy. But again, the point of showing these pre-strike imagery is that this is what was on the flight line. This is what took place once Ukraine struck. Remember, they infiltrated into Russia in trucks with wooden sheds. The wooden sheds had drones which flew off the trucks. They went into the air bases and they hit. Let's move to the other air base so that we get a better idea. We're talking now about Olenya, more than 2,000 kilometers to the north of that front line. Now, there's only one picture, which is a pre-strike image. That's the next picture of the 23rd of May. Again, Tu-22 bombers in this particular case. These are also one of the most important naval strike aircraft designed actually to take out American carrier battle groups, but also for ground attack purposes elsewhere if required. Zoom into the picture once again. And again, you'll see these curious black dots. So these are, as I mentioned, tires which have been placed on top to sort of dissipate the impact of drones if they do strike. Again, this was entirely unsuccessful. And that's a picture of the airbase. But if we move to the video, which we can now show you of the attack on Olenya, because that's what the Ukrainians did. Move to the next video, please. The next video actually shows you the attack on Olenya itself. Right, and that is just unbelievable footage. I've never seen anything like it. Ukrainian drones at that airbase a couple of days back, taking out what appear to be Tu-95 bombers. They are Tu-95 bombers. Now, the Ukrainians claim that they knocked out 40 Russian aircraft, but this imagery from Olenya, from this particular airbase, is absolutely staggering. And footage from the other bases hasn't yet come. And what we are waiting for, as I mentioned earlier on, is post-strike imagery to actually get a satellite image which will give you an idea of the number of aircraft which have gone down on the tarmac. Let's bring you the final image if we can. It's the final image is of Ivanovo, Ryazan, and Ukrainka. Let's just take a look at these images over here. Again, these are painted onto the ground to act as a decoy. These are A-50 aircraft in Ivanovo. The A-50 is a major airborne warning and control system platform. The Russians have already been losing them in the war. If there were hits on A-50s as well, these would be a huge loss for the Russians in this particular war. But again, we'll have to wait to see what exactly has taken place as far as the Ukrainian attacks and the success on those attacks has taken place.